Okay, John has a good question. What a beautiful name. He says, Dan, until I found your YouTube channel, I followed a traditional strength training program. As I understood it, I trained 3 to 5 days a week with 3 to 5 sets, 3 to 5 reps, and 3 to 5 compound exercises. There's actually a number of chapters in my books that are going to talk about something. I'm going to come right back to that in a minute, but I want to finish this. I kept everything simple, and I always used the weight on the bar to determine whether I was getting stronger. John, right there, that puts you ahead of probably 95% of the people I interact with. Listen to what John just said. When there's more weight on the bar, he figures he's stronger. You make me want to cry. Now that I'm approaching 60, what a young man you are, the aches, tweaks, and niggles have increased with time. Yeah. I feel like there's conflicting advice and not much of it in general for the older lifter. My question is, can an older lifter continue to make strength gains? Okay, I'm going to answer this right now. Yes, but it helps to make it helps to not have done that lift since 1965. It's real hard for me to increase my snatch and clean. You know, I cleaned 402 in a meet years ago, and I got to tell you, for me to do better than 182.5 kilos is just not going to happen this weekend. But can you continue to make strength gains? Yes, but I'm also going to throw in the asterisk. One of the things I wouldn't mind you comparing yourself to is other 60-year-olds you know. And I think you'll be very happy with this idea of you keep training. And how should one measure these gains? I have read that volume is the killer for the older lifter. I don't know about that. And that I should continue to lift heavy, but less often. Or is it the absolute weight on the bar that overstresses the tendons and ligaments as we age, thus requiring us to lift less absolute weight, but more often? I know what easy strength promotes, but I always assumed you still lifted heavy at different times of the year. In that case, do you still lift heavy? Well, okay, first off, in the Easy Strength Omni book, that book right there, I talk about simplifying strength training, and I use just a little different numbers. My numbers are 2, 3, 5. So it's 2, 3, or 5 days a week, 2, 3, or 5 exercises, 2, 3, or 5 sets, 2, 3, or 5 reps is kind of my simplest model of how to do easy strength. The issue for many people, of course, is that they need their hands held to make that decision. I have people ask me how many days a week they should train, and I say, you know, the first thing is I have no idea what your situation is, so I'll say 5, and they'll say I can't do 5 days a week. Then I'll say 3, and they say I can't do 3. How about 2? I can do 2. Good. There was that mental calisthenics is killing me because you should have just said I can lift twice a week. So you have a lot of questions here, and the nice thing is that all of this has been answered before I was born. It's Heidegger's book, Heitinger's book, The Physiology of Strength. And one of the things we find it as we age, it's interesting. The word now is called health span, but I still like the original concept of strength span. So as we age, you know, when you're young, you suddenly naturally build up to this great base of strength, and it lasts a long time. Then imperceptibly, it slowly tails off. What the health span or the strength span is this. All of us go at the same rate, but those of us who choose to lift weights get this little extra buffer. Now, what's great about that, even if you stop lifting weights, yeah, it'll drop down a little bit, but it'll still stay above normal, or what normal was for you. And as you move into the golden years of life, you will remain stronger than what you could have been or all your neighbors at the senior center. And the bigger the gap is here, the healthier and healthier be the health span, the strength span idea. So you made a point that I don't agree with. You said that a lot of people say that higher volume is bad for the older lifter. The key is this, John. You need to have built into a year program, Ecclesiastes, there's a time for high reps, there's a time for low reps, there's a time for high volume, there's a time for low volume. There's a time to push it, and there's a time to ease off. Let me just give you my classic real quick here, John. But I think it's even more true as I age. So I have always told people that I think the fall, and of course I'm an American, so this is going to be an American vision of things. In the fall is back to school time. That's when you have all your new organizers and your new books, and you haven't scribbled them in yet, and you got your new backpack, and you got your new school sweater and all that. It's the most disciplined time of the year. Here in the States, we play American football, which is a very, very disciplined game. So I think in the fall, most of us should do very structured strength training programs. For me, I like to do Dave Turner's 12-week peak program. He's my weightlifting coach. He also has other variations. But I like to do where on Monday I walk in and I look at the numbers and, okay, today I've got to snatch 165 and I got to clean and jerk 185. Ooh, okay. And I'm thinking to myself, that was a long weekend and now I got to warm up. In the winter, and most of the people I work with are in the Northern Hemisphere, so it's go heavy, go hard, go home. I like much shorter training programs in the winter. Shorter training programs for me are easy strength for fat loss. Any programs that are kind of tight, you get in there, you get the work done, and you get out. So for your example, in the fall, you would say I'm going to lift 3 days a week, and I'm going to do Stephen or Stephen Court's 3x3 program. And I know exactly what the weights are for the next 8 weeks. I know exactly what the weight on the bar is going to be for these 3 exercises, 3 days a week for the next 8 weeks. On day 1, you know what you're going to try to lift on week 7, day 2. In the winter, I like a little bit more flexibility because here, of course, I live in a place that gets a lot of snow, gets very cold. So for me, I do like a little bit more flexibility, which easy strength for fat loss and easy strength allows me to do. I mean, if it's just too cold, I'll get in there and do 2 sets of 5, boom, 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 and get out and get my walk in. In the spring, you want to move outside. You want to look better for the summer. That's the time you'd slide over to a hypertrophy program, higher volume. Instead of having the reps kind of peak at 5, you go sets of 8, sets of 10, sets of 12. And by the way, sets of 16 through 20 are also helped with by hypertrophy. So you could even push it to that. If you're going to go that high on hypertrophy programs, it might even be a better idea to put it to the next one, which is summer. In the spring, we're all getting outside. It's baseball season, it's track and field, we go outside. It's not wrestling, it's not basketball, it's not the indoor sports. We start the outdoor sports. And then, of course, summer comes around, and summer's the time to, play Frisbee on the beach, take walks in the mountains, hike around a beautiful valley and pick flowers and sing. So in the summer, I don't mind training programs that are quite brief, high reps. It might be a great time for complexes or circuit training or whatever you want to do. So John, that is just a basic, simple template of how to do things. I mean, just as simple as I could make it. But the idea is that at 60, everything starts to work. And you need to make sure you use all those different numbers. But don't just randomly throw them against the wall. Think it through. Think about your own schedule. Think about your vacations. Think about, if you have issues with having to do, child care, or you've got a busy time of year, you're an accountant, or say, and in February and March and April, you really can't be doing a 3-hour program every day. Adjust according to your local situations. I'm to the point now in my career that I think just about everything in the weight room works. Sadly, it only works for about 6 weeks usually, some things. So you have to constantly have a little bit of variation, a little bit of insight. I hope that helped, John. It is a good question, and thank you. If you have more questions, ping me another round and let's talk again. All right? Thank you.